Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP discovers that his 5-year-old son isn't his. Am I the butthole for telling my mom that it's time to lawyer up? My mom moved in with me after she sold her home to avoid medical bankruptcy. Things have been rocky because my mom was always the my house, my rules type of person. I have an older brother, Scott, who helped my mom with home repairs, but Scott and my wife do not get along, so he doesn't come over much. Me and my wife went away for a weekend getaway, and Scott and my mom repainted our living room white. It was navy with built-in bookcases and pantry. The job was done so badly, and the original paint job with the bookcases cost us thousands to remodel. My wife started crying, and my mom and brother said they wanted to brighten the place up for my mom. I didn't know this at the time, but my wife called my sister-in-law, as in her brother's wife, who's a lawyer, and the contractor who originally did the work on our living room remodel. My wife is getting ready to file a lawsuit against my mother and Scott, and has already handed my mom a legal eviction notice. That's deserved, and I back it 100% because this paint job was so terrible and without the homeowner's permission. My mom is saying that with an eviction for property damage, she won't be able to find a place, and my wife needs to stop. My wife has installed cameras in the home and is getting the court orders in place for my mom and brother. My wife's family is paying for this, and at this point, I'm afraid to say anything because I feel like if I protest too much, the big divorce will come. And considering my wife has a lawyer in the family, I don't want to mess with that situation because it's a shit show. My brother told me that my mom has rights, and I said, I guess it's time for my mom to lawyer up on her dime because I am not touching this. And it's my wife's lawyers who are pushing this through. However, I did sign off on the lawsuit. My mom said that she would contest the eviction, and I need to man up and make my wife do the right thing and drop the eviction and lawsuit. Alright, I totally agree with the top post here from External Signal. You're not the butthole for telling your mom to lawyer up, but you are the butthole for not immediately demanding that your mom and brother fix the problem, and politely asking your mom to move out, and otherwise defending your wife against your terrible family. Right? Grow a spine, OP. And besides, if your mom is so desperate for a place to live, then she can go live with Scott. Then they can paint their house terrible colors all they want to. OP, I'm giving you 1 out of 5 buttholes for being kind of a pussy, but hey, at least you're for the most part supporting your wife. Your wife gets 0 out of 5 buttholes, and I'm giving your mom and your brother 2 out of 5 buttholes. Honestly, how is this the second story in the past month that I've read where someone else comes into the homeowner's home and paints a room without the homeowner's permission? Where do people get these ideas? Am I the butthole for refusing to pay for my niece's wedding after promising to cover it? So, I'm a 35-year-old guy, and I've always been close with my older sister, Emily, who's 38, and her daughter, Lily, who's 22. Emily had Lily when she was young, 16, and since she was a single mom for most of it, I've always tried to help out where I could. Over the years, I've paid for Lily's summer camps, her college applications, and even her first car. I did this because I love them both and always wanted to support them. A year ago, Lily got engaged to her long-term boyfriend. When they announced the engagement at a family dinner, I said that I'd be happy to help with wedding expenses. I never said I'd pay for everything, but apparently my offer was interpreted as me footing the bill for the whole wedding. It became clear when Lily and Emily started planning a big, extravagant affair. Destination wedding, 200 plus guests, you name it. I sat them down and said that I would contribute $15,000, which I thought was a pretty generous amount. But they both seemed really upset. Lily said that I promised to pay for the wedding, and Emily backed her up, saying that I always supported them and this was the least I could do. Apparently, they were expecting I would cover a $50,000 wedding. I told them that was not happening. $15,000 was all I could give. Now, here's where things get worse. Lily and Emily stopped including me in the wedding planning entirely. I didn't hear much from them for a while, and it turns out they booked everything for the wedding thinking I'd eventually cave and cover it. Now they're in over their heads, and the wedding is just 3 months away. Emily called me, crying, saying they were going to lose deposits and that I ruined the wedding by not coming through. Lily isn't speaking to me. Here's the kicker. Emily and Lily are now saying that I'm being manipulative, offering to help them and then taking it away at the last second, making them look bad in front of the groom's family. They claim that they never would have planned something so extravagant if I hadn't promised to cover it all. But I never said that. I said I'd help. I feel like I've done more than enough over the years, but now I'm being treated like the villain for not paying for this giant wedding. Am I the butthole? Yo, OP, I wish I had an uncle that gave me $15K. My uncle, he's a nice guy and all, but he sends me a happy birthday card once a year, usually with no money in it. Again, not to begrudge him. I'm not saying he needs to. I'm a grown man here. I'm just pointing out, OP, you're extremely generous. Offering $50K goes above and beyond, so you are in the clear. Unfortunately, it sounds like all your generosity has made your sister and your niece a bit spoiled, which isn't your fault necessarily, but it is kind of a cause and effect. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your sister and niece 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my parents that I didn't have a kid, they did, and they need to take care of her, not me? I'm a 15-year-old girl. My parents had me when they were 18 and 19. They always made it so obvious they resented being parents so young, and added to that they never tried to be good parents. I typically spend most of my time at my friends' houses. I don't have extended family to rely on. My other family members disowned my parents for having me so young. So my friends' houses were a positive in my life that made me feel more comfortable than being at home with my parents. My parents never did the typical parent stuff like helping with homework or showing up to support me at school. I don't think they ever attended a parents' conference for me. They ignored a lot of stuff that I needed to get signed, and I would have to get right in their face on the last day to get signatures. My birthday and Christmas have never been a big deal or a celebration. They do celebrate their wedding anniversary, but that's a them thing. When they told me 2 years ago that they were expecting a baby, it really surprised me, but then it hurt me because sometimes they said stuff that made me feel like I didn't exist. Like how they were so excited to have a baby and how they couldn't wait to be parents. A friend of my mom's did remind her of me, but then she and dad said that I was basically the too early practice run and this was the real deal. When my sister was born, they were so attentive to her that I ceased to exist completely. I got sick at school, and my school was trying to call someone to pick me up early, but they ignored the calls, and when I got home, they had taken the baby out for a family day. When they got home, they hadn't even realized the school called because they turned off their phones to enjoy family time. My mom quit her job a month after my sister was born. She wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and she and dad want at least one more kid. My dad leaves work early on Fridays so he can spend more time with the family, as in my mom and sister. My parents tried to have another kid for over a year, and mom isn't pregnant yet, so they're jumping to fertility treatments. They told me I need to watch my sister for a few hours every week while they're attending those appointments, and they gave me this detailed list of stuff she needs, and what I'm going to do with her. I told them I won't do that, and that they had her, so they need to take care of her because she's not my kid. My parents told me it's a few hours a week, and it's not a huge deal. Dad told me that I need to look at it as paying back for all they did for me. I said no and told them they don't care about me, so why would I want to help them? Oh man, this was painful to read. OP, at 15, you're at that age when you can start preparing for your future. You need your own bank account, if you can pull that off, a job, and ideally to start preparing for your exit at the age of 18, when your parents will most likely kick you out entirely. You get 0 out of 5 buttholes. You're completely justified. I'm giving your parents 4 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for canceling all of our streaming services to hire a housekeeper without asking my husband first? I'm a 28-year-old woman, and my 30-year-old husband and I just welcomed our first baby almost 3 months ago. Understandably, it's been a huge adjustment for both of us. The baby still isn't sleeping through the night, and we're both back to work full-time. We've always split the household responsibilities 50-50. We just help where it's needed, and it's always worked out well. Lately, my husband has been doing the chores terribly, and I've had to come behind him to fix things or clean them again. For example, he cleaned the baby bottles the other night, and they were cleaned so poorly that I had to do them again. He dropped pump parts down the disposal and then ran it, ruining them. There have been several clothes that he didn't clean after a blowout that are now ruined. There are many more instances like this. I've confronted him a few times, letting him know that we all make mistakes, and I know we're both tired, but it feels like he's not even trying to do things well. He just keeps saying he's so tired and is having a hard time working and taking care of the house and baby. I do sympathize with this, as I'm also working, pumping, recovering, and taking care of the house and baby. The final straw for me was when he told me to go to sleep, and he would put up the milk that I had just pumped and finish the dishes. I was so grateful until I got up and realized the milk had been sitting on the counter and at this point was no good anymore. He said that he was sorry, and he put on a show to relax for a bit before doing the dishes and fell asleep. The next day, I decided to cancel all of our streaming services, PlayStation Plus, and our theme pack passes in order to hire a housekeeper. I figured if he's too tired to do basic household chores, then a housekeeper is necessary. If he's too tired to put milk up, then he's too tired to play video games or for us to go to a theme park. We still have cable and the PlayStation games and can do other activities outside of the local theme park. He blew up at me and said that I had no right doing that, and he was furious. I thought that I was doing us a favor so we can get more sleep and not worry as much about household tasks. So, am I the butthole for hiring a housekeeper without asking? Also, down in the comments, someone asks, wait, did you cancel these things in order to afford the cleaner services, or did you cancel it because you think it's taking up time? And OP replies, yes, I did it to afford it. So, OP, yeah, your husband is problematic because he's not pulling his own weight. However, canceling those streaming services to pay for the nanny feels less like a financial decision and more like an intentional punishment, or kind of like revenge, I guess. And that's definitely the type of decision that you should talk about as a couple together. So, I think I'm giving everyone a butthole score here. OP, I'm giving you 1.5 out of 5 buttholes, and I'm giving your husband also 1.5 out of 5. Am I the butthole for exposing my wife's cheating and not wanting anything to do with a child that isn't mine? So, 2 weeks ago, I found out that my 5-year-old child isn't biologically mine. I felt so hurt and betrayed that my wife of 6 years, who I've been dating for 9, cheated on me and even got pregnant by another man. I took a paternity test without telling my wife. I immediately confronted my wife and called her a whore in my anger and many other names. She started crying and explained that she hid it because she didn't want to break up our happy family of 3. I asked her why she cheated on me, and she explained that we had a very nasty argument back in the day. So she hooked up with someone, and it was just a one-time fling, and she's been loyal to me. She said that she had doubts that I wouldn't be the father, but she never took a paternity test because she said that she was happy seeing me happy, and she didn't go with an abortion for peace of our family and didn't tell me the truth. I told her I'm divorcing her, and I don't want to be in our son's life. She started crying and begging me to not break the family, and I'm still his father, and I've been a wonderful father and husband, and I should forgive her, and don't let DNA destroy our lives, and she started begging me. I immediately left, and she's been blowing up my phone. I decided at first not to tell anyone, but in the end, I got very angry and decided to tell everyone, and everyone's pissed at my wife. Her parents said they want nothing to do with their daughter and cut contact. My sister furiously called my soon-to-be ex and cursed her out. Her brother and sister, on the other hand, said that I humiliated my soon-to-be ex and I shouldn't have told everyone and I should have kept it between us. Yesterday, her sister called me and said that I need to take her back and come back for my son. I said that I don't have a son. She got angry and started cursing me and said that I'm a weak, pathetic man. No wonder my wife cheated on me. And I'm so pathetic I had to go behind my wife's back to take a paternity test because I'm insecure and weak that I'm giving up on my son just because we don't share blood, and I'm the reason my wife is alone and depressed. I cut her call off, and instead I called her husband and told him everything. I said that family is full of nut jobs, and maybe it runs in their blood, so you should take a paternity test as well. And don't trust those B words. He said he's sorry on his wife's behalf, and we ended the call. Now I'm ignoring all of my wife's and that B words calls. Man, isn't it crazy how DNA breaks up a family? Not the cheating, not the betraying the marriage, not getting knocked up by another man, but no, it's a weak man and DNA that destroys the relationship. Give me a break. Like, I love how you're weak and pathetic, but your wife cheated just because you had one argument. Man, these people piss me off. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your wife 4 out of 5 buttholes. I feel sad for the kid, though. His life got destroyed because his mom is a terrible person. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole? And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.